Okay, so Vinicius, to begin with, congratulations. We just saw your film and it was absolutely fabulous. We thoroughly enjoyed. So, from all of us at Art House Asia Film Festival,
Thank-
a big congratulations to you and to everyone associated with the Jaguar Man.
Very glad to present the film there in the. I'm very glad. I'd like to be there presentially, but today was the birth of the film. Today was the birth of the Jaguar Man, in terms of meeting with the audience. So today is a very important day.
Yes, and thank you so much for sharing the film with us. I think we
I
gave.
think there is a
নেটটা খুব ভালো কাজ করছে না
there is a delay. I can't hear you.
Yes, there is a delay. We are trying to figure that out. Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm. Can you hear me?
Yes, can you hear me?
I can't hear you.
Am I audible? Can you hear me?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You can. Okay. Sorry. Let's begin all over again. To begin with, thank
Okay.
you so much for sharing the film with us, and we together gave birth to Jaguar Man in Kolkata. So thank you for sharing your film with us, and it was lovely. It's wonderful. The audience enjoyed the film. What I'll do first is that
Thank you.
I'll take the phone inside, and let's hear the audience clapping for the film. I think as a filmmaker, it can't get better than that.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Well, very. I'd like to be there to feel this moment. Like it, the film. Ah.
Yeah. So that
Thank you
was how
so
the audience
much.
reacted to
Thank
your
you
film,
so
which I
much.
thought was
Ah,
absolutely stunning. So,
ah.
Vinicius, a couple of questions to begin with before I open it to the audience if they have more questions.
I cry. I will cry now.
How did you, how, I'm sorry, there are phone calls coming on the phone. So, okay. So how did the film begin? How did you conceive it? What was the writing process like?
Okay. Mhm. Um, there is a list I will try to answer. Okay, it started 20, 25 ago, second half of the 90s, and my father worked. My father worked in a big
Just a minute.
state-owned company. It's okay? Can you hear me? It's okay? Can you hear me? Okay.
Sorry.
Okay. Vinicius, sorry, we are still grappling with the technology here. So I'm so sorry. I missed out on your answer. So let me give you the question again. Uh, what I wanted to ask you is that what was the writing process
Mhm.
like? So how did you conceive it?
I, uh,
Uh,
I, I will try to. Mhm. Um, I will try to change it to my from my mobile to my computer. I think it's maybe is the
okay.
best, but I don't know.
Okay.
Um,
I can hear you now.
just 1 second.
Okay. Sure.
Okay, don't let's go. Let's go here. So this story, the story of Jaguar Man, started 25 years ago when my father worked in a big mining company in Brazil, a state-owned company in Brazil, and this
Mhm.
company started in this period in the middle of the 90s. It started restructuring process.
Mhm.
So it was a so violent process, uh, and my father was there in this moment working, and
Mhm.
he told me some stories from him, from his friends there in the company, and very and I saw a film in this moment 25 years
Mhm.
ago.
Okay.
I wrote the first treatment of the script. I wrote in 2010.
Ah.
2010. So, yeah, I wrote the first treatment.
Okay.
So my producer Gisela Câmara started to work with this script during 10 years. In 2018, we got the money to shoot. The process of the writing, the starting point was the stories of my father in the company where he worked.
Okay.
So I expand with other stories in my research, and I create the story of Pedro.
Mhm. So when you talk about Pedro, I was very intrigued to see him the way he is. He is someone who has a lot of emotions in him. He cries, yet he works in a corporate. He gets very disturbed when his team members are retrenched. So give me a little more about this dichotomy that we have in Pedro. At one hand, he is a corporate man, and on the other hand, he is a very soft-natured human being.
In one, sorry, I speak English as well as Pedro speaks a little bit. So you talk about there is two Pedros, about a corporate Pedro
Yes,
and another
yes.
one.
A corporate Pedro,
If I
yeah.
understood,
A
yes,
corporate Pedro and a human
yes.
Pedro.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Um,
So if you could
well,
tell us a little more about
is
the
a
two
family guy.
Pedro.
Uh, you want to more? You want to know more about the two Pedros?
Yeah. So
Well, as I told you, this story, but I would try to. As I told you, there is this story comes from the stories of my father. My father was a corporate guy during his period in Companhia Vale do Rio Doce, and when he left the company, he decided to live in the middle of in his small town, and I would like to tell the same story. So my father, when he went to his small town, he birthed he uh, uh, that's it. Um, the end of the end of the relationship with his company changed him in another man. I don't know if I answered you. I don't know.
no, I think fairly understood is that he was one man when he was in the corporate. Then the end of the relationship with the corporate gave rise to another man in him, which was softer, and so that I get that. Something which I found very interesting is that you touched upon certain things which are universal. One is you touched upon environment, you touched upon sustainability, merger, unemployment, and retrenchment. So these are social issues which kind of govern the way we look at the world now. Uh, so give me a little more about what's happening in Brazil now. Are these issues contemporary real issues which on which a lot of films are being made? how are you looking at these issues of environment, sustainability, merger, retrenchment? How is Brazil coping with this?
Sorry, I understand a part of your question. I touched on some points of the unemployment restructuring process. I touched, but I didn't understand all his question. Sorry.
No. So my question is that what you showed in your film, what the issues you touched upon in your film, which is environment, sustainability, merger and unemployment, retrenchment, are these issues which are prevalent in Brazil now? And how is Brazil coping with these issues as of today?
Yeah.
Could you hear me?
I think I under. Yeah, with a little bit of delay. Can you give me? I will try to reconnect the internet. Can you give me 5 seconds to reconnect? Okay.
Okay, sure, sure.
I think it would be good.
Yeah, sure, sure. Please go
Okay,
ahead.
just 20 seconds.
Okay, sure.
Hello, hello. I
Yes,
didn't get. I
Vinicius. Is
will.
it better now? Can you hear me?
Yeah. I can hear you.
Lovely, lovely. Do you want me to repeat my question?
You talk about the environment. The film touched the some issues about environment.
The issues that you
Uh,
have touched upon.
yeah. But you want a connection with this moment in Brazil now. Yeah, I didn't
Right,
understand.
right, right,
Yeah,
right.
yeah. This film in this moment in Brazil, Jaguar Man becomes a very political film in this moment because. Um, because in this moment we are burning our forests. We are burning
Yeah,
our forest. We are. I don't know in English, but we are producing soya, and the cows, and so it's in its nature, Jaguar Man, it's a political film, but in this moment in Brazil, because of those issues, becomes more strong film. I'm very curious about the releasing the film in Brazil, and it will happen in the middle of this year.
Okay.
But in this moment, it's a very delicate question.
True. So what I'll do is there are people waiting, the audience is waiting to ask you questions. So I will pass the phone on to audience who are ready with their questions. So here's the
Okay.
first one.
Hi. Can you comment in the
Hi.
cyclic characteristic of nature that you chose in depicting Pedro's full life circle?
Sorry, you can speak a little bit slow. You can.
Okay, sure. Can you comment on the cyclic characteristic of nature that you chose, in order to depict Pedro's life going full circle?
Sorry, the Pedro. What? Pedro.
So in the movie, you depicted Pedro's life going as full circle, right, from start to the end. So can you comment on the cyclic nature of it?
Comment. Sorry. Comment. You want to the comment? What?
No. So her question is that Pedro in the film starts from point A, and it's a circle which moves from point B to C to D. So it's a journey of his
Yeah.
life, of his character.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
So we just want to know that, if you'd like to comment on the, characteristic of the nature you chose for this, for depicting your main character, Pedro.
Mm-hmm.
okay.
Well, if I
So
understood your question,
yeah. So what I'll do is I'll also pass it on to someone else who will possibly try to explain it better.
Hello. Hi, sir. So the question is basically what I can understand is that so we start from a place where we do come to a place where we see Pedro witnessing the jaguar being killed. And then at the very end, when he's, in the water, um, yeah.
hello.
Okay.
Okay.
Vinicius, welcome back. I
Okay,
think
you
I'll
hear
pass
me?
it on. Yes.
Hello. So the question was basically
Hello.
kind of trying to understand your take on, how the journey was kind of cyclic because the story starts, somewhere, and then we do start with him kind of having that memory of the jaguar being killed and him witnessing it with his friends. And then when finally he's in the water and, there's a jaguar witnessing that thing. So it's kind of like a full circle, and because the story also has this strong commentary on nature itself. So I kind of wanted to know if you were deliberately trying to depict a cyclic natural phenomenon through Pedro's life.
Well, there was an opening scene in the film that this perception of the cycling of the Pedro, well, the film opens in his company with the images of the journalistic images. So there is about his childhood and the end, with the river, Pedro in the river. If I understand the question, I would like to make two different films with the same character, two independent films with the same characters. If I understood your question, and the challenge during the edition was to articulate organically two different films with the same character.
Right.
There was a
So you're
story
saying that,
in the forest.
yeah,
There was a story, and a story with Pedro in his family world, in Rio de Janeiro,
right.
in the urban city, and I'd like to make two different films and articulate. Um, so I don't know if I answered your question. I don't know.
Right. Yeah, yeah. Sure, that does
It's
give some
okay.
perspective into how you uh, conceive those two storylines together. Thank you.
So we have one more question, and the
Thank
next
you.
question is from. Yeah.
Hello, sir. My name is Sanjay Thokcham. I loved your movie. I have a question for you. Um, Brazil is going through a political turbulence, and even in India, we have had similar things. Do you think the filmmaking community is resisting enough? Is producing change capable of resistance? Thanks. Hello, sir.
As action, there was I missed something of your question. Can you
Acha.
repeat, please?
Yes, of course. Brazil is going through changes. India too went through changes, and I was asking your opinion if the filmmaking community is capable of resisting it, is producing changes by making films that shows resistance, and if it is affecting and creating chances and increasing chances to create more resistance, is it effective?
Sorry. Um, Brazil. I missed some parts of your. If you maybe it's my internet. I don't know. Maybe it's my internet here.
I was saying, sir, do you think films are capable of creating resistance in political changes? Um, just in Brazil.
Thanks a lot. Now I understand. Yes, I believe. Yes, I think that we can touch hearts and minds. We can watch the world surround us differently in other ways. I hope that we are living a very difficult moment in Brazil with Bolsonaro. A very difficult moment. That help the people, the Brazilian people, think our country, our forests in a different way. Our, I don't know if I answered you, but
Yes,
I believe in the power of the cinema.
Thank you so much, sir.
Vinicius, I have one question for you, which is that in the
Thank
film
you.
there are three timelines.
Thank
So
you.
there are three timelines in the film. So how did you manage to splice them together? Were they exactly like this when you had written them?
So you told the film there are two, three. So I move your question.
No. So
You were
your
telling me
film
that the
has
films
three
are three,
timelines.
and I missed it.
Timeline. So there's young Pedro, and there's a Pedro who is
Three
working in
times.
the corporate sector, and there's another Pedro who has quit his job. So now there are three timelines. So when you had written it, did you write it exactly the way you edited the film, or was it different? Did you change the structure later on while after you have shot it?
Okay. Okay. Um, in the part, in the beginning of the process of the writing, Jaguar Man was a linear film. There was the
Ah,
first block with the Pedro in the. I remember that the first treatment of the film, there was a end credits in the middle of the film, as the first
okay.
story ends and another story begins. And
Hmm.
there was in the first treatment, the second treatment. Uh, um, so after I decided to change to mix the block of time, uh, I and I some films of Alain Resnais, and I decided to mix the film to
Hmm.
experience mix the stories, those two different stories,
Yeah.
two
I
different
have to tell
stories,
you, I
and
have to tell you, it was
and
very well done.
when I shoot the film. Uh, oh, thanks a lot. When I shoot the film, the structure is the same of the film, but during the editing process, I check the structure during the editing process. I changed it more and more. I
Okay.
reinvented the film during the editing process.
Wonderful. Congratulations on that. I have one last question. There's a gentleman who would
Okay.
like to ask you one last question.
Hello. So my question is for you that India is also going through a similar kind of privatization problem, what you have shown in your picture. So
Hello.
once again, last time during the night. Hello. Yeah, can you hear me?
Hello.
Hello. Yeah. So my question is for you that India is also going through a similar kind of privatization problem now. Okay. So what you
Hello.
have already shown in your picture. So that is why it was so relatable to us that So basically, my question for you that what is your comment on this globalized economical behavior?
Can you repeat, please?
Yeah. So basically, India is also going through a similar kind of privatization problem now. Okay. So basically, what you have shown in your picture. So
Can you
that is
repeat
why it was so
your question?
relatable to us. So my question for you that what is your comment on this globalized economical behavior? As a filmmaker, what is your comment on this globalized economical behavior?
As a filmmaker, my comment about economical. You want to know my comment as a filmmaker? Question. You want to know that as a filmmaker, how can I?
So basically, the privatization.
I I can't hear. Basically, what?
So basically, the thing is the privatization problem. Okay, what you have shown in your picture that India is also going through that kind of privatization problem now. The last time during the 90s, and now it is once again. So basically, that is why it is so relatable to us. Okay, as an Indian audience. So my question to you that as a filmmaker, what is your comment on this globalized economical behavior of this current situation?
Okay. Well, your question is about. I don't know if my internet is bad. I don't know, but I have some difficulty to comprehend. But I think that I got your question. Um, as a filmmaker, how I see
Exactly,
the issues of
exactly. How you see that the
privatization. I
globalized
think.
plus
Okay.
economical behavior of
Okay.
the character. Yeah.
Well, in this moment. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Well, I have a position. I have a point of view about the issue. Well, this story is about, as I told you in the beginning of of our chat. This story is the story of my, and when this company was privatized, I don't know, it was privatized. It becomes it was to Brazil. It's got concentrated in the. It's not good. It was not. So I think that. Um, I think that
Yeah, actually your voice is
privatization
breaking.
is not a good way to solve some country's problem. I think that it's very important the state take care of the country and the people and And this is my point of view as a filmmaker. I tried to talk a little bit about it with Jaguar Man. I think the privatization in Brazil wasn't good for our people. My Brazilian citizen.
Thank you. Thank you.
Vinicius, thank you so much. It was an absolute pleasure to have you with us, though the internet did give us trouble. But thank you so much. And what we'll do is there are other questions which the audience might send us even after there's a screening tomorrow. So possibly we'll email them to you or send them to you by WhatsApp if people have more questions, and you can interact with us on those questions. Thank you so much. It was a pleasure to have you with us, and thank you for sharing Jaguar Man with us. Thank you. On that note, good night from all of us here at Art House
Bye
Asia.
bye.
Bye bye.
It's my pleasure. Bye bye. Good night.